Sorry,
Hi.
Van.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to Jenny from the Chopping Block. And today I'm so excited to introduce you to my new friend, Greg Jacobson. And I am so excited and eager to learn more about your mission and all the good that you're bringing into this world. So I want to hear more about your book. So you're the founder of Happily Achieving.
I am.
And I just recently took the quiz, so I want to find out maybe a little more insight on that. But how did this all come about, and what does this mean to you?
Wow. So, what is it? It all started back when the most important thing in the world was myself and how I was feeling about life and what I wanted to accomplish. I think it all starts with us saying, how am I going to be happy? What's it going to take for me? And my role models were, maybe people that I had read about, and business moguls, and people that I thought were happy. So I decided, at a very young age, it was important for me to make a bunch of money. So that was my focus, is just doing and being, and it was about me. So then, at 25, I met my wife, amazing, fell in love, got married, had 2 kids literally right away, had twins.
Wow, lucky.
It was like, wow. When I found out I was having twins, it was time to get really serious about life and about business. So now it was about taking care of my family. That was the most important thing. And how do you do that? You make a bunch of money. So as an entrepreneur and knowing some things, I went to work and built a $250 million business, working 18 to 20 hour work days. I would work 120 hour work weeks were average. If I went home, I would have no energy for my family, no time for my family. It was, okay, I got to get back to work. I got to sleep a little bit. I'm crushed. I got to get some food in me. And that's if I did come home. Otherwise, I would sleep on the couch. But there were times that the company, and it was just a few of us, we were ticket wholesalers, concert, sports, and theater tickets. We would buy from Ticketmaster, and then we would sell these blocks of tickets, premium tickets, to ticket brokers, and then they would resell them. Well, we were really good at it. We ended up buying 1 million tickets a year, and we killed it. I mean, there were times that a tour would go on sale, we would make $1 million in less than a minute. And instead of celebrating, we would go home and toast there. It was just, okay, what's coming up the next hour? What do we need to watch out for? Where are the orders? What are the best opportunities? We would just focus on what was next. There was never any celebrating. We would set goals, we would achieve the goals, and then never stop to celebrate them, because rather than, and I'm sure a lot of you do the same thing, Jenny.
It's so crazy you say that.
You set a goal, and you're close to the goal, and you're like, I'm so much better than that. That was weak. That goal was weak. I'm setting the bar higher. So instead of reaching your goal and celebrating, and doing something nice for yourself and patting yourself on the back, you say, that's some crap. I'm going to set the bar higher. And then you go, okay. And then you get close to it and you're like, that wasn't even good enough. I got to go higher and higher. So you never actually reach your goals because you just keep setting the bar higher. And so if you don't stop and celebrate, why are you even living on this planet? You take all of the joy out of it, and other people get to celebrate with you. So that's like one of the keys. So we finally, my business partner and I, literally after 5 years of, now listen, it's not normal to work 18-hour work days. I mean, maybe once in a lifetime, twice, or for a week on a project. This was 5 years. And it's not because I'm such a badass or I'm so great or I'm so motivated. My business partner and I were both just in such deep competition with each other. We wouldn't be the ones to go home first. We wouldn't be the ones to quit. We wouldn't be the ones to miss out on an opportunity. Because look, you go home early, you could miss out literally on hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. And the cash flow was just coming through and go in and go out. And it was all part of the daily, of who we were, what we were doing, and how we were living at the time. We weren't like socking it away and living low. We were powering it out. We were having expensive lunches when we would eat. We have things delivered. We had a really nice office that didn't need to have, because we never had anybody in the office. we would just work. And there was no playtime. So after 5 years, we decided to go on vacation, and we went to Indonesia, to Bali, Indonesia. And we brought our wives, who were pretty much strangers at this time. They missed us, and they were just doing life without us. They had kids, and they had a household, and they had money, and they could do whatever they want, but they didn't have their husbands because we were working. So when we went on this vacation, I had this, after this long thing I had an epiphany somewhere along the way. And when Ken and I separated from our wives during a course of this dinner that we were at, because he wanted to go smoke a cigar and didn't want to smoke around them. They don't smoke cigars. So we went and talked, and I said, Ken, like in my heart, I'm thinking, Ken, this is like a real question, like an epiphany question for me, is how do we have more of this? What do we need to do? And his answer was, we need more money, more power, more domination. And the more I was thinking it as a business question, like, how do we get from millionaires to billionaires? That was what he was thinking. I was thinking, man, how do I have my time with my friends and time with adventure and new places, and to love my wife, and to go home and hug my kids who were growing up without me, and to grow spiritually, and to give more, and to grow emotionally. And all of these things were like, they just like crashed down in this moment of taking a break, being able to recharge my batteries, because we work so hard and we ask the universe these questions, and there's no opportunity for the universe to answer, or God to answer, or whatever you believe. You put out the questions, you're going to get the answers. But if you're constantly busy and putting out questions, the only time you're going to get them is when you're asleep, or when you're in the shower, possibly when you're taking that break. And you know what I'm talking about, because you're listening and you're probably smiling and laughing like because that's when they come to you.
These are all lessons I've learned in the past 2 weeks. You're dropping these bombs. I'm like, yeah.
So that's how it started. So then I realized that he and I just were in different places at a different time. And I, I don't know if I was ahead of him. I just think that you can't see deeper into the valley until you're further up the mountain. And at this point, we were climbing the mountain, but we were only looking at the mountain. I mean, if you're climbing the mountain, you're looking in one direction, which is up and straight ahead, and you don't have a big view. But at this time, it felt like we had gotten to not necessarily the peak, but somewhere where we needed to rest and get ready for the next climb, wherever that was going to be. We just happened to be going in different mountains at this point. And that's a metaphor for this that I'd never even thought of before. This was maybe a plateau that we looked out. I turned around and it took my breath away, and I felt like I had failed at that point. Rather than feeling that I had reached something glorious, I had realized I'd made a huge, huge mistake, and that money really wasn't what I was chasing at all. It was experiences. And I think that the millennials as a group and younger know this, that it's about experiences. It isn't really about amassing stuff. So I think the older people like me, we thought that if we create this big mountain of stuff, or this big appearance of being successful because we have a lot of cool stuff or expensive stuff, or house at the beach, or new $100,000 plus cars, if that's important, there is time for that. It just, that time came and passed, and I had realized that I was just in a new phase of my life, maybe to pare down a little bit and to be present, really present. And that was missing.
Beautiful. So how did that?
I screwed up. That's what happened.
You didn't screw up. It sounds like you learned a lot.
I did. I really did. I did a lot of things right too, but that was just an empty moment, thinking, man, I had been working for all this stuff, and I had most of it most of the time, but I was on this blind track of just keep charging forward, and if I slow down, my competitors are going to pass me, and then I'm going to have less. Or the more you give, the more you get. The more you give away, the more fulfilled you are. And I'm not saying give away all your stuff and don't have anything, but you only need to live at a certain level, and then giving really is the extra where hopefully you get to be one day, whoever's watching this.
Yeah, we have.
I'm not talking to a group. I'm only talking to you right now. I don't know who you are, but I hope you're feeling me.
Mark Siegel, Raph's here, and I love what Mark just said. Experience tops money 10 out of 10 times. And
Mark, you're dead on, man.
Yeah.
You got a big smile on Mark's face.
He's the best.
How's it going, Mark?
So from this point in your life where you realized, you wanted to have these experiences and really feel wealthy with it, love and, your relationships with your family and your friends, did that lead you to self-development?
No. So I've been doing personal development since I was 16 years old, but I was going down the wrong paths. I was just following voices that were telling me I needed more and I needed to do more to have more and to be more to have more. And those are true, but I was just looking at them in an accomplishment sense, not necessarily being bigger in all areas of my life. I wasn't looking at every slice of my life. I was ballooning one of many areas that were important. I was working on accomplishments and success and business and finance. Now I was killing the game. But in the other areas of my life, I wasn't in tune. I didn't even realize that I was an intuitive empath and that I had saved lives. I had prevented people from committing suicide, looking back for decades, for dozens of times. And I didn't realize that I'd done this. And I didn't realize that this was special or different. And also whoever's listening right now that I'm talking to, you, just that one person, you probably have these gifts that you think are normal. They're not at all normal. They're not freaking normal at all. I had no idea that everybody didn't know these things and feel these things. So at this point I said, okay, I'm going deeper into personal development. I'm going deeper into, who I am and what I want to become and how what's the difference between the man I want to be and the man I am now? And how do I bridge that gap? I was asking those deep, important questions. So I went on about an 8-year sabbatical. I did some work. I did a documentary called Modify. You should check it out if you can still find it. I'm probably pulling that off of. It's only available like on YouTube right now, pirated. We're going to put it back out there again, but it's about body modification, and it was way before its time. I think it's 15 years old now, and it's hard to watch sometimes. It's not gratuitous, but it talks about how people think and the differences. You'll love it. There's a high line and a low line that everybody can enjoy in that movie. But that was one of the projects that I wanted to do, and I did that, and we knocked it out of the park. We got awards for that, and I felt great. But that was all self-funded. And then I decided, how am I going to help other people? And I'm looking for ways to contribute. And then I went to as I usually do, a seminar people do. I went to a seminar. Now, this was another epiphany. So I went to this event, and I won't tell you what event it was, but it was.
Come on.
I can't do that. But some people have had great success with it.
Oh, got you.
I did not have great success with it. And I felt like I was really open to the process. But I think the facilitator made all the difference, and this guy was more on the sadistic side. So I would watch people go through these pains, and I would see you'd get really charged up and excited about their pains, and then he would leave them hanging instead of bringing them through the process of, oh, so that means this, and so I can feel this. I don't want to go into too many specifics because you'll figure out what program it is. But the point is that I think it was the second day, the homework was life is. You got to go home and you got to figure out what life is and fill in that blank. Now, I had a lot of personal experience. My wife, Rocky, was.
Hey, Rocky.
Yeah, she's not here right now. I sent her out, but she's amazing. She's the stage manager for Tony Robbins, I guess for the last maybe 10 years, but has been working with Tony Robbins, still does, for now 28 years. So a long time. So we're in the personal development space. We live this. Our friends live this. We're in kind of this bubble of, hey, look, if there's a problem, we handle it. And if it's not really a problem, it's probably a challenge. And if it's a challenge, it's really an opportunity. And it's just a different way of thinking about things. And this is how I've been doing this maybe since 16 years old. I raised my kids this way, and they're 26 now. So I don't even think any other way. So I go to this event, and Life Is, they come in the next day, and they ask, Life Is, and this isn't hard homework to do. So most people were excited. They got to do their homework finally. They raised their hand. There were about 150 people. It was in Santa Barbara, and it was in a place that the window overlooked if you've been to Santa Barbara, it's one of the most magnificent places on the planet. And I've really been all over the world. I love Santa Barbara. Mm-hmm. And it's a pier, and there's sailboats out there, and it's just a beautiful sunny day. It only rains about 10 days a year there, and it doesn't get really hot. It stays medium. It's just amazing. I love Santa Barbara. And it was a kid, mostly college students from UC Santa Barbara, which is a great school. I mean, they're good-looking kids. It was a really good-looking bunch compared to some of the events I've been to. For sure, it's a really good-looking bunch. Good-looking bunch too, always. Seems like it. So, so all the hands were in the air, but they're young. I was one of the older people there. Most of them were in their mid 20s, I would say, early to mid 20s. So Life Is, and this young girl raised her hand, like 21, 22, and she raised her hand, and the facilitator calls on her, and he says, Life Is, and she says, Life is sadness. Mm. And that kind of shocked me because that wasn't my answer at all. So whatever, one off, raising my hand. Everybody's eagerly raising their hand, and he calls on me, and I said, Life is freaking awesome. But I did say the F word. I didn't say freaking. I said,
you could say it.
He says, too broad. All right, too broad. Okay. So I just, shut my mouth. I'm trying to participate here. I'm not trying to let my personal development experience or exposure, let's say, spoil the process. There's something to this. It's worked for other people. I've heard great things. So I'm just there as a participant and an observer. I'm not there to throw a monkey wrench in anything. So then he points to another girl, a little bit older than her, maybe in her 25, and she says, Life is disappointment. And then another guy said something else negative, and then another lady next to me that was sitting right next to me says, Life is waiting to die.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and it hit me all of a sudden it hit me that I was in this bubble, that I think of things in a different way. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it right now.
I was thinking about this the other day. Like, how can people think of it negatively when they say Life is?
Man, it was really all, and I thought to myself, okay, Greg, listen, this is a sign from the universe or God. This is really elementary stuff that that can help other people. It was just an immediate calling. Like, you have to do this. Some people are called to do things in life, and some answer the call and some don't. But this was me answering the call. So, okay, I'm going to answer the call. So I said, well, okay, I could literally help someone go from depressed and suicidal, unless it's some kind of, chemical thing. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to say most people. I can't say everyone, but most people. I can take them from I don't want to live anymore to I'm pretty excited about the future, actually. Like, in an hour, 90 minutes tops. I mean, if they do this on their own, just take the information and do this on their own. It's not me. I'm not magic. I've just got this information. I was able to digest it and regurgitate it and put it out in a way that people could understand and take action on immediately. And I've done this, like I said, dozens of times to people that were suicidal, and countless times to people that I didn't know were suicidal that were just sad. Mm-hmm. And strangers, people will literally come up to me and walk up to me and say, I'm a piece of shit. I hate myself. I'm going to kill myself tonight. I've had this happen more than once. So I don't know that this happens to everybody. I would imagine not, but there's some magnet in me that people don't really want to die. They just want things better.
Just don't want to feel that pain.
Than they are right now. They don't have the skills and tools. They weren't taught them in school. Mm-hmm. And this includes people that have plenty of money. That money isn't an issue, and you can think, well, I'm not depressed. I'm just, I'm just a drug addict. Well, why the heck do you think you're a drug addict? If you were so thrilled with everything, you probably wouldn't be, slamming and falling down and falling asleep when you could be hanging out with friends. It's just that, or an alcoholic, where you got to drink every single day. Oh, I'm not an alcoholic. I just drink a 12-pack a day. Well, most people don't do that. If it affects your life in a negative way, you're an addict. Mm-hmm. In a negative way. That's what I mean by addict. So You don't have to do those things. And people out there swear by a 12-step program. I just believe in changing your identity. I used to do this. Now I don't do this. I have the habits. I don't have the habits of a drug addict, and I don't have the decision-making process of a drug addict because I no longer have drugs in my life. Now, it could be a struggle, so make it less of a struggle. Don't hang out with the same people and go into the same patterns. But there's a lot of things you can do to make your life better from a strictly decision standpoint and eliminate decisions because you already know the right thing to do. If you know what's right and what's wrong, there isn't a decision there. There's the decision falls with, well, should I do this or shouldn't I? Most of the time, you already know the answer, what you should or should not do. I mean, you know this after 5 years old. You know what's right and what's wrong. You just have to know what's right for you. And only you can choose what's right and wrong for you as far as what you want in your life. Not what's right and wrong. I apologize. What is right for you? You know what's right and wrong.
I have a question for you. So, suicide is very an important thing for me. I've lost a few friends and people close to me to suicide. And I've also experienced what you said, where people come to you, and I was drawing in people who I also helped. And I'm just curious, I wanted to ask you, did you set that intention?
No,
to know how to
no.
But to know how to help them? How do you?
No, I don't want to be the anti-suicide guy. I'm happy that I can help. I'm happy that I have these skills that I could share, but I just want to share skills. And they're not shared skills for strategies for not being unhappy. That's not what I'm going for. I want to teach everyone how to have an amazing quality of life, not just not want to kill yourself, but actually live life to its fullest. Thank you for your comment, John David.
John.
Because listen, there's a lot of people that don't have these skills. They're not obvious. We're not born with these skills. I've learned these over time. And by the way, I'm not a naturally happy person. People are like, well, it's easy for you. You're a happy guy. First of all, I hate when people call me happy guy because they usually mean it in a negative way. Like I'll have something going on with my family and I'll be very intense and I'll be talking about it and they'll go, nice face, happy guy, or nice way to deal with that happy guy. You're the happy guy. I'm doing my best to teach and live this every day so everybody can have these skills and tools, but it's not easy. Knowing how to do it is easy, but following every day flawlessly is not even what you're going for. In every area of your life, it's great to get an A. You don't want to get 100% in business, but a 2% in health. How does that help? If you can get 90% across the board, you've won the game. That's the game of life.
Beautiful. So what do you think is the biggest tool that you help people see that their life is worth living and that you've seen a big turnaround instantly? Is there
listen, the things that I teach are their quality of life skills, the 5 changes in thinking that will get you from unhappy to well-being, or maybe from well-being into happy. Most people think there's a happy and an unhappy, and there are, but we live in the space in between. If you ask people, are you happy or are you unhappy? They have to think about it because they're not either. If somebody's like, oh my God, this is great, you don't even have to ask them if they're happy. If they're crying and they're inconsolable, they're unhappy. But usually if you have to ask, they're somewhere in the middle. So you can be high in the middle or low in the middle. I just want to teach people the skills so they can evaluate their situation and realize that maybe they're higher on the scale than they have given themselves credit for in the past. And that maybe things are better now than you think they are. And maybe that things aren't as bad as you think they might be. Some people are victims and they like to remain victims. They get their strength from being victims. You could tell these people because they always tell you their problems. And then when you go, oh, I had something similar, and they go, oh, you think that was bad? Let me tell you what happened to me, which is way worse. Who wants to be the top of the problem heap? If you have the biggest problems, you need to change your focus for real, because it's not cool being the person with the biggest problems. Because nobody wants to be around you. And you don't even know this because they won't tell you this, because that will just add more problems, even though they don't realize that you thrive on problems.
It's addicting.
Stop thriving on the problems. That's one of the things. One of the biggest turnarounds that I'm going to tell you isn't even highlighted in the book. The 5 changes in thinking. I'm going to give you the most important one that's not in here.
Okay.
That is self-talk.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. People, seriously, think about it. If you talked, I don't know how many of you have kids, and I knew, but you would do anything for your kids. I know you would. You do anything for your friends, for your family, but your kids, you do more for your kids than even that you would do for yourself. At least most of us parents, or at least most of the time. But listen, if you talk to your kids or someone else talk to your kids the way that you talk to yourself in the mirror, you would kick their ass. I mean, look, do you walk by the mirror and go, hey, God, your hair looks like crap. Oh, your ass is so fat. Oh, you're really not good looking, are you? Oh, you're just not really good enough, are you? I mean, just the crap that you tell yourself that mostly isn't true. Mm-hmm. We're so hard on ourselves. Learn for that voice in your head to become an ally for you. Mm-hmm. You know, have it become your friend, because that's when you're alone, that's all you've got is that little voice. And that little voice somewhere is you, and it's trying to protect you, but it's not trying to protect you in a way that you need it to protect you. It's trying to use something that's protect the organism. It's just trying to keep you alive. That's all it's doing. It's trying not for your lights to go out. It's trying to keep you alive. So it says things like, oh, you shouldn't even try this because you'll fail. And if you fail, then you won't be liked, or they're trying to save your feelings. You're trying to save yourself. Your friends do the same thing. Your family does the same thing. Oh, maybe you shouldn't do that because you could fail. Or, oh, that relationship, they have a, maybe they just want you for your money. Maybe they don't really love you. I'm just trying to protect you. I just want the best for you. I just don't want you to get hurt while they're stabbing you. What hurts more than that? But we don't do it to be mean. We do it because we're trying to protect. So if you know that little voice in your head is trying to protect you, then you say, okay, that's great. I understand that, but you need to change your language, because I'm not going to put a note in my kindergartner's lunchbox that says, hey, try hard today, even though you're a loser and your hair looks like shit and your nose is too big and your ass is fat. You would never say that to your kid, because CPS would come take your kids away. It's inappropriate. So it's certainly inappropriate to talk to yourself that way. So become a good friend to yourself. That's the key that I would say that's truly, truly important. Relationships are the key to life and the key to happiness. They really are. Relationships more than anything. But the relationship with yourself is where it starts, because people don't want people that aren't happy with themselves. And so be happier with yourselves, and you'll find more people are happy with you too.
Beautiful. Yeah, I still catch myself sometimes. I'll be like, oh, I'm stupid or whatever it is. And then I'm like, no, I'm not stupid. I'm actually a genius. Like, it's an ongoing thing. And where those thoughts come from, I don't know, maybe it is from.
It's a balance, Jen. Yeah. It's a balance. Let me tell you, my kids, my son Tanner specifically, I got 3 boys, all very bright, all very forthcoming with me. They all tell me, hey, Dad, you better watch this part with yourself, because he told me the other day, he says, Dad, you're really smart, but you're not near as smart as you think you are. and it's not just you. Most people aren't as smart as they think they are, Dad, because what happens is people believe they know what they know, and what they know, a lot of it isn't even true. They just learned it from somebody else who heard it from somebody else, and it wasn't true. So just check yourself just to make sure that what you're saying is accurate within yourself, not that you heard from somebody else, because I know you're good at that, but don't fool yourself into believing that you know everything and that you can't learn even the things that you think that you know, which was, that's pretty insightful for a 26-year-old guy,
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that. We could learn something from everybody we talk to and encounter. So I want to ask you, because I took the test online.
The happiness quiz. So that's where we start. So that's an evaluation of where you are now. Like with a GPS, I'm sure you've all heard this before. You got to know where you're going. To get you there, you got to know where you're starting. So the blinking button that says, I am here now, blinking button, you are here. That's what this quiz is. thehappinessquiz.com, and it's free. So, and it takes 5 minutes. You're not supposed to think about this and go, well, you'll know the answers right away. You'll know what I'm trying to get at. And these are questions that you probably haven't asked yourself, at least in a while. If you did, you'd be improving in these areas. But that's what it is. It's just showing you the deficiencies in your life or the areas that you're crushing it and where you need to spend a little more time. So how did you feel the test went? Pretty smoothly?
Yeah, I was excited to see that. I realized that I was answering questions maybe differently than I would have before I did all this work. And, it was exciting to be able to go on the good end of the spectrum. I got a 98, I think. I don't know what that means.
Well, it's out of 1,000. If you got a 98, I've got to go do a rescue on you.
Shit. Maybe it was 9.
Yeah, it must be in the 900s because it's a very sensitive test. I mean, it's a 50 question test, but you answer them like this. You know the answers. It's literally a 5-minute test. So it's like, what's it? That's really quick test. 5 minutes, you're done. And then I'll send you an email score. It'll tell you where you are currently. That's just a score. It's a snapshot of the moment. But the more you take this quiz at different times, you'll realize, okay, I have some control over these things. And then you'll see your score over time, and it should be going up. And I give you some skills to improve your score. So that's what this book is. So instead of, I need this $16.99, I'm giving it to you for free. So go to thehappinessquiz.com, and then you'll get your score, and then you'll have an option. Do you want the digital book or do you want the physical copy of the book? And the physical copy of the book, I will pay for the printing of the book, but you'll have to pay for shipping. And with a media rate, it's only $2.99 for shipping. I mean, obviously I'm not here to make a profit on this. I'm here to show you what's possible in your life. And then if you want to go deeper, there's that opportunity too.
Beautiful. So I saw that there was a couple of people that wrote your foreword in your book. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? I love Jack Canfield and Joseph McClendon, right? There's a couple other people. Yeah.
I've been pretty blessed to have some very well-known and very appreciated and respected influencers to say great things about this book. Just to give it a review and tell their honest thought. What do you think about this? So at the time that I wrote this book, now going back to that moment and when I realized that people around me were really unhappy and that this was probably normal around the world. If these good-looking kids in this privileged, beautiful place of Santa Barbara that are healthy on a sunny day in a very wealthy place, if they weren't happy by the beach, what are people that are in a lesser situation going through? And I'm sure some of them are happy as a clam, but there's skills and tools that I could teach that I wanted to share. So I wrote this book. So it actually started with this book, which is a big fat book. And I gave this to my editor, and it was 550 pages at the time. And she said, this book really is brilliant. I mean, it's very comprehensive, but unfortunately no one will ever read it because the number of people reading at that time was going down. And the number of people reading big books certainly was almost non-existent. She said, if you want to make an impact, don't do 100 changes in thinking, do 5 that will make an impact, that somebody could open to any page, they can read any part, and they'll have an impact immediately that you'll be talking to them. And that's easier said than done. So I meditated it and prayed on it. And I went through the whole book and I wrote, what are really the 5 things? If I could come up with 5, I don't know if it was going to be 7 or 10 or, if I could do 5, what would be the 5? And somehow I pulled these 5 out of here that seemed to be, that spoke to me, or maybe just was relayed to me of what needs to be done. Just like the happiness quiz, I thought to myself, I need to do a quiz that's easy to go through. It takes about 5 minutes and was like 50 questions. So I was meditated, prayed. I just asked for the right questions to come so people can understand the evaluation and believe in it right away that this score is going to be valuable for them based on their answers. And I got 53 questions, and 3 of them were duplicates of others. So it was exactly 50 questions. So that's just how it works. This turned out to be exactly 5 changes, other than the self-talk, because that really needs to be spoken about separately. And the 5 are in here. They're really simple. They're not groundbreaking as far as, oh my God, I've never heard that before, but maybe I never thought about it in that way, or I never paid as much attention or put as much importance on it and realized how it could change my life. So that's what I did. And then I put the book together, and I thought, okay, well, now how am I going to get this book out? So I went to the people that were either mentors that I had met, or virtual mentors. I'd read their book, or I'd seen videos or interviews, and I had really admired them and respected them. So I started writing letters, and one by one, they just came back. Yes, 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 we would love to support this. Yes, this is important. We feel that this is important. So when Les Brown says, it will literally change your life, it's because he means it. He's not trying to market anything. He doesn't get anything out of this. I don't even get anything out of this. I'm not trying to make myself more important. I'm not trying to sell programs. None of that's important to me. What's important is impact. When I get somebody like a Jeremy that I put in, I asked Jeremy because I thought it was important to let me share his letter. Jeremy is a guy who cut his arteries. He didn't want to live anymore, and he was in an institution on lockdown, on suicide watch, and somebody had heard about the book and gave it to somebody who gave it to Jeremy, and Jeremy just let it sit there. He doesn't read. I mean, he's just not that he can't read. He's just not a reader. A lot of people just don't read. They were probably forced to read in school, so they don't like reading because they didn't find anything they like to read. But once you find what you like to read, you can't get enough of it. So Jeremy, for whatever reason, picked up the book, started reading the book, and had these epiphanies that literally changed his life. So he wrote me a letter that said, not only did you literally save my life, but it changed who I want to become. And I want to share these skills that you shared with me because they're teachable and learnable. You're not so brilliant that you couldn't give me something that I couldn't teach somebody else. That's not what this is about. This is very simple stuff. But once you apply it, you have amazing results like Jeremy did. And he said, look, there were a lot of people in lockdown who had the same feelings I did. I had a friend that was tried to kill himself several times, who was a soldier, and he's just has these visions and moments that he just can't cope with. And I believe this will teach him. And he says, I even hate to ask anybody for anything ever, but will you send me 30 books? And that's what made me think, okay, this guy's reading a book who doesn't read. He said, by the way, this is one of the only books I've ever read, and I read it twice. Certainly the only book I ever read twice, because it takes an hour. I mean, it doesn't take any time to read this book. So he got it. It worked for him. He shared it with other people. And I thought, I'm not letting $16.99 or a book in the way. So I did an audio version. And then I did a course that if somebody needs this, they need somebody to walk them through it, because the odds of success reading a book are slim and none. They really are. And I get the ones because I put it out to a lot of people, and a lot of people read this book, and then it helps people. And then some of the people put it into action and get back to me. So you can imagine the ones that I get, it's gone through a process, and some people learn at a different pace and it means different things. And it depends when you read it. You'll get something out of this for sure. But I wanted to talk to the people that were really struggling, like with the moment. Like, I feel like my life's getting worse, and it's a downward spiral, and it can only get worse, and I can't take this pain, and I don't want to die, but I don't want to live either. And I think that's with most people who attempt suicide. There's 20 million people annually that try to kill themselves. 20 million. And it's a terrible number, but 1 million people are successful. So that's 5%. It's not because people don't know how to kill themselves. It's because they really want to live, but they are so in so much pain they don't know what else to do. They're not that committed that they're going to stand in front of a train, but they will take a handful of pills and hope that somebody finds them and realizes what pain they're in and gets them some help. It teaches them something because they know that there's other people out there that are happier than them that probably shouldn't be, that are in a worse situation. They see people that have cancer, have kids with cancer or incurable diseases, or go through crazy, horrible things that still manage to not limp through life, but thrive, and take those things to learn from and teach others. And they get joy from sharing and becoming part of a solution. I know that's certainly in fact for me, and nearly everyone in the personal development space has had some major challenges in life, physically, emotionally, something, and they've pulled through. And so if I can do it, you can do it, because we're not so special that we're any more special than you maybe in a different way, but you can do this. These are simple skills, and that's where the course came from. So I want to share that with you too. So let's start with the book, because it's small steps. Start with this, and if you see some value in this, I will give you the course. Give it to you.
You are so generous. So sweet. Yeah. So it's a 1-day course. And how do they contact you about that? What does that look like? Do you really
want me to give them the course, or should we just start with the book? I think we should start with the book. Listen, if you want me to give you the course, I hid it in the back of the book. I mean, literally hid it. There's one line in the back of the book that says, if you want more. I really don't. I don't want to just. It started out. This course was $500. People paid $500 for this course, and I didn't feel bad taking the money because they needed it. It would help them, and it's worth much more than $500. But if I give it away, it seems like there's no value. People seem to what you spend money on, what you invest in. The more you invest, the more you spend, the more you pay attention. Unfortunately, I'm going to give it to you, but I don't want you to discount the 35 years that I put into this to make it all come together for you. It's 5.5 hours. It's a 100-page workbook. I'll give it to you. So again, it's at the end of the book. It says, if you want more, go to www.thinkyyourselfhappy.com/more.
You're the best.
And it's there. And listen, I want you to go there. It's not like, okay, you need to earn this. You don't need to earn this. You need to be happy. If you're not happy, if you're saying to yourself, there's got to be more to life than this, you're right. You're absolutely right. What it is for you, I'm not going to this isn't just preaching. That's not what it is. The name of the book is Think Yourself Happy. The name of the course is Happy Right Now, because I want you to be happy right now. So when you go to Happy Right Now, you'll go through this, and it's questions, more questions than answers. Lots of answers too, lots of skills. And it's not just, oh, it's so happy outside, I'm going to be happy today. It doesn't work that way. You have to do certain things in order to become happy. Happy is attainable and it's sustainable, but you have to learn what to do. It's like playing guitar or something. You have to learn the chords. You can learn the chords pretty easy, the basic chords, but then there's advanced chords. And then you start putting them together, and the more you practice, the more you're good at this, and you can play beautiful music. But you can play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star right away. So I'll teach you that right away. This is simple stuff that some of the best people in the world have endorsed and said, this is a must for your life. If you want to be happier in your life, Greg's got this. Do these things, and this isn't painful. This isn't like a diet. You don't have to be deprived of anything. This isn't something that you have to go without, or something that's going to hurt you, or something that you're going to wish that you could get through faster. This is just a different way of looking at things and approaching things that will improve your life. There's 5 changes. You're right, Mark. Live in the happy zone. So there's 5 changes in thinking. You do 1 change, your life will be happier. You do 2, it's going to be exponentially happier. You do all 5, it's going to be unrecognizable. You don't have to do them in any particular order. You don't have to do them at any particular time. It's not a syntax thing. It's just an idea. Follow it. Put it on like a shirt if it fits, and you like it, wear it. If it doesn't, take it off. But I don't know anybody that has taken any of these and said, like number 5 is gratitude. And I'll teach you not only how to be grateful, but how to remember to be grateful more often. And I think that's where people lack. But never met anybody that says, that's a bunch of crap, that gratitude. Nobody should be grateful. I tried being grateful. It doesn't work for me. They're all like that. So there isn't anything that is, you're going to be on one side or the other. You're just going to go, oh yeah, you're right. He's right. I need to do more of that.
Beautiful. So
get the damn book and then just put it to work. Come on.
Yeah, get the damn book. So, so I want to hear more about, I know you travel a lot and you've been.
I travel all the time. I mean, not all the time, probably 8 or 9 months out of the year with this COVID. So last year I did 31 countries. I would say 100, more than 100 cities. The year before that was 25 countries. This year, 2 countries. But it's because this COVID has put everybody on lockdown, and it's time to travel more. But you need to be intelligent, and you need to be careful, and you need to wear your mask. I'm not joking, folks. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. And listen, you could say, I don't know, a conspiracy theory or a hoax or whatever. Listen, if you're, I'm not even going to talk to you about that other than what's the difference? Wear your mask. Who cares? It's not a big deal. Of course it's real. I know people that are sick. I know people that have been exposed, that are waiting tests, that are freaking out. I know people that have died. That's real. It's as real as it gets. So listen, you got to wash your hands. You should wash your hands anyway. Don't touch your face and you got dirty hands. Don't touch your mouth and your eyes and your nose ever. You shouldn't do that anyway. Wash your hands, right? Wear a mask, sanitize. It's not a big deal. But I'm not saying that you need to lock down at home and not love the people in your house and, go pick up food from restaurants and be intelligent about what you're doing. But there are also some serious points to make here that would be valid whether there's a pandemic or not, which is, you don't know when your last day on this earth is, or the people that you know. The people that die around you, you're always surprised. Even if they're on a ventilator, when you get the final call and you know it's coming, you're still surprised.
Yeah, true.
So most people don't die from being on a ventilator. Most people are, they get a disease, or they get hit by a car, or they commit suicide, or they get, something happens, but none of us live forever. So take this opportunity as an opportunity to tell the people that you care about how much you care about them.
Yeah.
Because listen, they might know, and you think that they probably suspect, but I don't know when the last time you looked them in the eyes and said, I just want you to know that I appreciate you so much. I love you, and my life is better because you're in it. You may have never said that. It may be hard to say, and it may be hard for them to hear. But man, if you don't tell them, they won't know. They can only suspect. So if you love someone, call them on the phone and on FaceTime. Not on FaceTime if you can't get it out looking at them. But tell people how much you love them. I mean, it's if you love them, don't tell people that you love them and that you like them and that you respect them and you appreciate them. If you don't, always be genuine. But the people that you haven't told, and you know who they are, maybe you haven't thanked them enough, or maybe you never thanked them at all. Maybe it's better said in a card. Maybe you need to write it down. Maybe you're an email person or a text person. Whatever your method of communication is, don't let that be a barrier to telling the people around you how much they mean to you, how much you love them, and how much they've affected your life in a positive way, because you don't know how they're feeling. That call to them may be the call that saves their life or makes them appreciate that they're actually doing something. They're appreciated. They're somebody that matters. Because I don't think people know that they matter. And you matter. I'm talking to you. You matter. You as an individual matter to so many people that you just are unaware of. Even the people that you don't know. If you're a jerk in an airport and you're not, you don't care, just because you're not aware of the people around you, they're certainly aware of you.
Yeah.
So the more present you are, the more you wear.
It works the other way too. I love like becoming friends with strangers and just like bringing out the best in people I don't even know. When you know their guards up a little and you just break it down and you're like.
I think smiling does that. You don't even necessarily need to say a lot or, anything. Listen, I talk so much. There's plenty of times that I don't want to talk to people. I'm not a savior. I don't need to, people need to hear this, but I can't help everyone with every one of their problems all the time. None of you can. Some of you are so devoted to other people that you take away from yourself by giving so much. That is not what I'm asking you to do. Matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. Fill your cup until it's so overflowing that you want to share with everyone else. That's where I'd like you to get. That's where I'll show you how to get. The book will teach you how to get there. The course will teach you how to get there. I'm not trying to get anything from you. There's no cost to it. There's no excuse for you. And now you have the time to do it. Time used to be a big factor. Oh man, I don't have time to do anything. Well, most of us, at least are at some of this because of this lockdown, have time. You could really say, we're going to have a family day on Saturday.
The greatest gift. Yeah.
This Saturday is going to be going over this course, each one of us with our own book, coming up with our own answers to these questions and designing our life so we can have the most amazing quality of life that's possible for us on our terms. I don't have to work all day and, then sleep all night. I could work all night and sleep all day. I could set it up, or you could set it up where while your kid's at school, you're sleeping. And then when they're home from school, you're awake, enjoying that. And then when they go to bed, you're out working. You don't have to be away from your kids. You don't have to have a life that you're missing. And if that sounds like, well, that's not for me, I don't want to turn my time upside down, that's fine too. You can have work where you start at 10 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon or work at night, or whatever works for you, doing whatever you want to do. You can do because there's value in it if you're helping other people. Now that's up to you to figure out how to do that. But again, there's skills and strategies to teach you how to do that. You don't have to be unhappy, even though, nearly I think it's 17% of the people now, the recent study I've heard are literally happy with their jobs. The rest are either unhappy with their jobs or actively seeking new employment. So if you're in the 17%, congratulations for you. Why would you not be if you're not? So it doesn't mean quit your job, but it means find joy in your job. How are you contributing? You can make somebody else's day awesome if you're a customer service rep. You don't have to just solve a problem and hang up and think, God, my job is just dealing with people bitching all day. It sucks. It's like, hey, I've got somebody on the line that needs me and I can help them. And that's an important person to be, not an important job, but important person. Do you get the difference? That if you're a person that is looking to help other people, like if I could help, why wouldn't I help? If that is the way that you go through life, don't you think your life would be a lot better than, hey, what's in it for me? And that everything is a transaction. I'll do this for you if you do this for me. Hey, baby, let's have sex tonight if I buy you dinner. I mean, can't you just be loving and caring and sharing and give so much that the person on the other side said, oh my God, you're so amazing. What can I do for you? That's how I live my life. And you can do that. You can give and have that your life without having to sell yourself or sell your soul. I promise you that. It takes some work.
Yeah. So I have a couple of questions for you that I ask everybody. And I'm really curious because I know you have a couple superpowers already, being an empath and kind of feeling people's energy. And so if you could pick a superpower, what would that be?
Well, it wouldn't be that one. I wouldn't get rid of it, but that wouldn't be my first choice. I like the idea of flying. I've always liked the idea of being able to have the freedom to go and, three-dimensionally, like flying above water, underwater, just the ability to move freely. I feel a little restricted by gravity.
Okay.
But Barack Obama had a really interesting one. He said his superpower would be the ability to communicate with anyone at any time.
So
So
cool.
the ability to speak multiple languages, or even if they were extraterrestrial, I would imagine, or maybe even communicate with animals. I don't know how deep his thought process was on that, but I thought about that, and wow, that'd be a really cool superpower, because I love communicating with people. I love it when someone has a challenge, especially, and I can just say something intuitively, and man, it just turns on the light, and then nothing else needs to be said, and they've got it from that point on. And that is an amazing thing for me. So to know the nuances of language and to be able to communicate, and not just through language, but being a complete master of communication would be a beautiful thing as well. I would like that superpower along with flying.
Cool. I love it. And I can relate.
What's your superpower? What would you like?
I would want to be able to like truly heal, like to be able to heal.
What, you just touch someone emotionally, physically, anything?
Yeah. Animals, people. That's my new.
Don't you have that power now, though?
I do, but like to really have it.
Like to raise the dead? You like to touch someone, touch someone in a car accident and they're healed?
Yeah.
I mean, really, but not bring back the dead? That wouldn't be okay?
No,
that's a little too far?
Yeah, I don't like go Pet Cemetery and all that. Actually, I love that movie, but no, I think when it's your time, it's God's plan and it's your time.
I don't think there's anything you can do to get out of the way of that one. When it's coming, it's coming. I've had a lot of close calls, but obviously they weren't my time. It's not like I cheated death.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, that was close. But when it comes, it comes,
Yeah, I was thinking, I celebrate my birthday for a long time, and I was thinking about it today because I'm still celebrating, and it's like I'm very lucky to be alive. I've had a couple of close calls. I'm sure we all have.
People are asking me. They're like, I'm not finding an account for Happily Achieving that's active for Instagram, and I just want to tell you that all my stuff is under Greg Jacobson Live. So if anybody wants to get hold of me or get any of my stuff, it's Greg Jacobson Live.
I'm gonna post every
just letting them know.
Yeah, I'm gonna post everything in the
okay, because I post some other strategies, daily thoughts, and not necessarily every day, but strategies and thoughts that will help you in your life. And I try not to do a whole bunch of, hey, this is what I'm eating, or
speaking of eating, what's your favorite food or recipe?
Okay, I would say that what I tend to lean toward as one of my favorite things to eat is a chicken Milanese.
Okay, and
it's you can get that all over the world, and you would think it'd be similar. It's really not. It's just a coated, breaded, pounded flat chicken, which is easy for me because I know I have Crohn's disease, so I have some issues sometimes with food. Certain things that I eat will exacerbate a very negative reaction, and it's bad when it's bad, but it's usually not bad. So I gotta say, if there's if 1 out of 6 people has an incurable disease, I think it's something like 1 in 6. There's 5 people in my family. Let it be me, and let it be that. Because compared to a sick kid or spina bifida or cancer or something like that, I'm super, super lucky. Very lucky. Just like John, lucky to be alive. So people go through some serious things, and they think that it's not going to get any better. But I can almost assure you that that's your new bottom, and that's a great place to be. Congratulations, even though you may feel like crap. It's a nice launching pad that there's no really where to go but up. You're already crushed at the bottom. It's not gonna get worse. And if it gets worse, how much worse can it get? Like this much? Which might be a lot, but still. But your upside is unlimited.
And what are you gonna learn from that?
Unlimited.
Yeah. I always look back at my pain and I'm like grateful for it. I'm like, wow, that really freaking taught me so much, or it just brought my life to somewhere so completely different that I wouldn't have if I didn't go through that. Or
Totally.
Yeah.
But back to the chicken Milanesa, breaded chicken. So I have an opportunity. I think it's chicken most of the time. So I don't really know.
Sometimes
and since
it might be
everything
veal.
tastes like chicken, I can just believe it's chicken. They have different breadings and different coatings, but whether it's in Asia, I can get that, and I hope it's, whether I'm in China or Vietnam or Japan, where they eat some strange things that I think could be chicken. I'm going to say or Indonesia, chicken, maybe chicken. I'm going to say it's chicken. And then in Europe, that's schnitzel. So that's pretty basic, which is the same thing. It's just pounded flat and breaded. In Australia, it's chicken schnitty, and I love it. In Scandinavia, it's very popular there as well. Mexico, United States, you can get it pretty much anywhere. So that's one of the reasons I like it. And then because I think it's chicken, and I know some places because I go to some really, I'm all over the world. I'm trying to help people in all areas, but I'll try pretty much anything. So I don't think anybody's maliciously trying to hurt me. And if it's something that they eat that they want to call chicken, similar, I think I've tried that, and most of the time it's chicken, and so far it hasn't gotten me sick. But I think if it's like fried, cooked or really baked well, and the temperature is fine, I think you can pretty much eat anything and not die.
All right. And I just wanted to ask you to close up here. It's been such a pleasure getting to know you, and I love your energy and your message, and just you're super sweet. So thank you for coming on the show.
Anytime. I want to help other people do whatever drives them. Like somebody might be saying, you know what, I was sexually, I have a buddy of mine, super masculine dude, buff, and he was molested as a child when he was young. And he's one of the few people, men at least, who've come forward and said, this has really affected my life. And it happens to men and women, certainly much, much more to women than men. And it doesn't make it, less or more because it's a man or woman. That's a terrible thing, to take advantage of anyone, but especially a child, and especially sexually. And then men just feel so embarrassed about it, they don't talk about it because they feel that it makes them not masculine. And, although I know that you're watching right now thinking, one of you was watching and thinking, man, that happened to me, and I don't want to tell anybody. It's a horrible thing. But sharing that with somebody, there's other people around you that have gone through the same crap, and let them know that they're a victim, that something happened to them, and they don't have to carry that around. They don't have to carry that around and live that today and be ashamed of it in any way, because there's no shame in something that happened to you. And I want you to know that there's other people that have gone through this that need you to talk about it. They need this conversation. And that's just one thing. And maybe you've gone through something else. Maybe you've gone through the loss of somebody, and you haven't, a brother or a sister or a child, and you haven't discussed it because it's just too painful. You need to talk about it, because you can't live in that state. You can't just hide it away and let it eat you from the inside. It will never go away. It doesn't lessen them to talk about it, and they want you to have an amazing quality of life. So don't stay a victim. Even though things happen to you, let's discuss them, not so you have to relive them, but just so you know that you're not in this alone. There's nothing to be ashamed of, and that you can move past this and through this, and it doesn't have to continue to affect you in a negative way.
Beautiful. Thank you, Greg.
I don't even know where that came from. Was that even a question? That wasn't even a question.
Well, I was asking if there's anything that's on your heart, and it's clear that was something that came through you to share. And
I thank you. Okay, so in a roundabout way, what I'm saying is, if you have a gift to share and you're afraid that you may not be the right messenger, or you're not ready, start the journey. It takes a while to become the professional and comfortable with what you're doing and what you're saying. But people need to hear it, and it's not going to be wrong. You're not going to screw it up. You'll just get better at it and better at it and better at it. You don't need to write a script and then say your script. Just talk from the heart. about who you are, what you've been through, and that you're here to help others and that you care. Because people need to hear now more than ever that other people care and that they're not alone. Because people are freaking out in this time. They're so used to a routine. There's no more routines. We have to set our own course. And so now is a great opportunity to decide where you want to go, and let's go together, and we'll support each other. And I'm here for you. So again, the happiness quiz is where to start. Think Yourself Happy is the book. Get it. And then the course, Happy Right Now, will follow. I want you to have that. I'll give those to you. If you want to buy the book, the money will end up going to charity anyway. And that charity is Happily Achieving, which is me going around the world teaching these skills to the people that need them most, whether it's orphanages or prisons or women's groups or small business owners or hospitals, or it doesn't matter, community centers, wherever I'm needed, that's where I'm guided to go. So thanks for having me, Jennifer.
Thank you so much. You're like bringing me to tears. It's so sweet. I'm grateful to know you, and thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Stay in touch.
Definitely. And guys, I love you. Thank you so much for contributing and being a part of this. I can't wait to see you guys all soon. And I love you all, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening.
I care about you too. I want you to know that you are not alone. And I do care about you, even though I've never met you. And for the ones that I know and I love you, I love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Ciao.